Dyscalculia is a specific learning difficulty characterized by severe and persistent impairment in mathematics, including difficulties using numbers and quantities, simple arithmetic, and counting. Dyscalculia affects brain areas that handle math and number-related skills and understanding. Symptoms of this condition usually appear in childhood, but adults might have dyscalculia without knowing it. Dyscalculia is uncommon but widespread. Experts estimate it affects between 3% and 7% of people worldwide.
What is the difference between dyslexia and dyscalculia? Dyslexia and dyscalculia are both learning disorders, but they have key differences. In the most general terms, these two break down as follows. Dyscalculia affects a person's ability to do math, and dyslexia affects a person's ability to read.
Why they are different? The two conditions fall under the same diagnosis, specific learning disorder, in the American Psychiatric Association's Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. It is also possible for people to have both dyscalculia and dyslexia.
How does dyscalculia affect the brain? People who have dyscalculia are neurodivergent. Neurodiversity is a term that describes how no two people have the same brain, and everyone's brain forms and develops uniquely. For people with dyscalculia, that means their brain works differently from the brain of someone who doesn't have disorders or conditions that affect how their brain works.
Solving a math problem like 2 plus 2 may seem simple, but it takes several different skills and the areas of the brain that manage them working together to do it. Some of those include visual processing. Your eyes see that entirety of the math problem and send the components back to your brain for processing.
Short-term memory. You use your short-term memory to hold onto the specifics of the math problems as you work on it. For example, the number among the symbols and the order in which they appear.
Language. You use this part of your brain to translate the symbols in the math problem into what those symbols mean. That's how you know what the plus sign, equal sign, and question mark mean in this context.
Long-term memory. You access this kind of memory to remember the process and how to solve a math problem. In this case, your brain identifies that this is an addition problem based on the plus sign and the equal sign.
Understanding of quantities and amounts. Your brain translates the symbol 2 into the understanding that it represents a specific amount or quantity. Children usually learn this principle by giving them examples like fruits or animals.
Calculation. This process unites all of the above, helping you solve that 2 plus 2 equals 4. For a neurotypical person, the above processes all work as expected. Depending on how severe their case is, people with dyscalculia may struggle with certain parts of the process.
What are the symptoms of dyscalculia? The symptoms of dyscalculia depend on which parts of the process a person struggles with most. It can also depend on the person's age and the situations they encounter most often.
Young children up to the pre-K and kindergarten levels. For very young children, the most common symptoms include trouble with counting upward,
Connecting a number to that many of another. For example, connecting the number 4 to that many marbles in front of them.
recognizing numbers and math symbols,
Organizing numbers such as largest to smallest or first to last.
recognizing and using number lines,
And learning using money such as coins or bills.
school-age children, primary grade elementary school. The symptoms of dyscalculia often draw attention when children start school around age 6. For these children, the symptoms include trouble with
Counting on fingers with small numbers. especially at an age where that seems unnecessary.
Identifying small quantities of items just by looking.
Doing simple calculations from memory,
Memorizing multiplication tables.
recognizing the same math problem when the order of the numbers or symbols changes, struggling to understand that 1 plus 7 is equal 8 is the same as 8 equals 7 plus 1,
Understanding word problems or more advanced symbols.
and organizing numbers by scale 10, 100, 1000.
Teenagers and adults. The symptoms in teenagers and adults often look like trouble with the following: counting backward,
Solving word problems,
breaking down problems into multiple steps to solve them,
measuring items,
measuring quantities.
using money, coins, and bills to pay for items, exchanging bills for coins, and vice versa, and making change.
Emotional symptoms. In addition to symptoms that directly relate to someone's ability to do math, people with dyscalculia may show emotional symptoms when faced with situations where math is necessary. Those emotional symptoms often include
Anxiety, including task anxiety or even panic. Fear, including fear or even phobia of going to school.
agitation, anger, or aggression, such as temper tantrums in younger children. What causes dyscalculia? In most cases, especially in children, experts don't know why dyscalculia happens. There's evidence that learning disorders, including dyscalculia, may run in families. However, more research is necessary to confirm this.
Experts denote that people with dyscalculia are more likely to have certain differences in some areas of their brains. Those differences seem to indicate less development and fewer connections between brain cells in those areas.